I'm Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. Thank you for joining me. I bring you a new live session each week. And this one, what makes a great prospect? I'm not going to go through any of the content that I've shared in previous sessions. I got a couple slides that you'll write in, but I'm going to share with you new insights, new ideas as to what makes a great prospect. Now, here's why I'm sharing this is because very simply, it's so easy for us to get hung up and going in different directions. And we wind up with prospects that are really nothing more than suspects. No, we wind up with suspects, just leads. You see, what I want to do is I want to help clarify. Hey, if you're listening from wherever you're watching from, pop in the comment section where you're viewing it from, what country, what state, where are you at? And we'll try to flash as many of those up on the screen as possible. So, hey, the content I share comes from the 3 books I've written: High Profit Selling, High Profit Prospecting, and A Mind for Sales. But really, what we're talking about also is content that comes from our online platform. We are named as one of the top 10 sales development programs in the world, and we're proud of it. The Sales Hunter University. The Sales Hunter University is really designed to do one thing: help you sell better. So, hey, what I'm talking about right now in this session, what makes a great prospect? Let me just kind of give you a little bit of a tease, because we've got a new masterclass out, Sales Pipeline. New masterclass, Sales Pipeline. You can go out to thesaleshunter.com or go to learn.saleshunter. But hey, Sales Pipeline course is out there and it's available for you. And some of the content I'm sharing with you is coming from this. Hey, chime in with where you're connecting from. We've got people already calling in. This is great. Manchester, great to have you. We got Sacramento, California in the house. We got Vancouver, Canada in the house. Hello, Bonnie. Great to catch up with you. We have England in the house, and we have Central CA in the house. We have Georgetown, Ontario. Great to have. So, hey, we got multiple countries in the house. This is absolutely outstanding. And I'm sure we're going to have a lot more people that will be chiming in. So don't hesitate to chime in with where you're connecting from. We got another Canadian. Wow, Canadians are kind of ruling the roost here. Now, here's the whole thing. I'm going to share with you something that I talk about numerous times. And it's embarrassing that I have to talk about it. And that is integrity. When we prospect with integrity, we will get customers who have integrity. It's embarrassing that we have to say this for one very simple reason. Shouldn't it come out in everything we do? Yeah, it really should. It really should. But unfortunately, it doesn't. So that's why I keep kind of coming back to this. Okay, but let's jump into some stuff. And I want to call up a couple of pieces I put out on social media over the last week. Here's one. The answer isn't more leads. It's better leads. I tweeted this a while back, and it was amazing the number of comments that came off of it. And people were challenging me, is it leads, or is it better leads, or is it prospects, or what is it? And that led me to put together a LinkedIn poll that just concluded today. We ran this a week ago, so it would conclude today. And it's very, very interesting. I read, would you prefer to have 500 leads or 25 great prospects? Over 3,000 people in total voted. 88% there said they'd rather have 25 great prospects. 12% said 500 leads. But what's interesting is when you go through the stream of comments, over 100 comments, 150,000 people viewed this. The comments were almost split 50-50. So there was the people who are very much into more leads are very vocal about it. They're very vocal about it. So now let's talk about what makes a good prospect. I want to share with you a couple of things. Source, prior history, people connections. Now think about this for a moment. I have a lead that comes in, but I want to see if it's a prospect. I want to see if it's a qualified prospect that I can run with. So one of the things I'm asking myself is the source. Where did it come from? Where did this come from? If it came from by way of a referral, then it's probably very, very good. If it came by way of a connection, if somebody said, call Mark or call, then it's probably pretty good. What's the prior history of this lead? In other words, has this lead connected with me before and just fallen by the wayside? Prior history is, what does the internet say about this lead? What does the internet say? Because again, prior history is no indication of future performance. Gee, that's right out of stock portfolios. But it can give you a little bit of a sniff, a little bit of a sense. And are there people connections involved? In other words, are there people that you could be connecting to, reaching back out to? Now, I like these three for this very simple reason, because it gives me a quick validation as to whether or not this lead, this prospect is a good prospect. Because here's what I found. I can get leads. I can get leads. My goal is to get prospects. No, my ultimate goal is to get great prospects because my objective is to spend more time with fewer prospects. That's what I'm looking for. I want to have more time to be able to spend on fewer prospects. Because when I can do that, it's amazing what can happen. And here's what happens. I can begin to know their need. I know their timeline, and there's trust, confidence, and integrity in it. Now, let me break this down for you, okay? Here's the thing. We've all heard of BANT, and you may have heard of MEDEC or MEDIC. There's all kinds of different formulas for how should I understand how to sell. I'm kind of putting those aside. They have their applications, but not here right now. And I don't, and I think what happens too many times is that we get caught up chasing too many things we don't need to get hung up on. This is what I'm looking for. Can I understand what their need is? Do I know what their need is? And if I know what their need is it something I can help them with? I may know what their need is, and if I can't help them, I'm going to refer them to somebody else. But if I'm able to understand what their need is, then boom, I want to do business with them. Know their timeline for making a decision. This is absolutely critical because they may have identified a need, but if the timeline to solve it is 2-3 years from now, why am I dealing with it? I'm not going to chase down them. No. Now, if I can change that timeline, great. But many times I can't because of contractual obligations that they're under, whatever it might be. I've really got to understand the need and the timeline. But here's the other piece. I have to be able to establish trust, confidence, and integrity. Now, trust, confidence, and integrity cuts both ways. They have to have trust, confidence with me. They have to see me being as integrity centered, and I have to see the same way for them. Yeah. Hello from New York City. Great to have you on the call. Great to have you. Hey, if you haven't chimed in with where you're connecting from, throw it in the comments section because I want to get you up on the screen here. So far, we've got a huge audience out of Canada in terms of people that are chiming in, and got people from England, UK, and we got people from the US. Haven't heard from any other countries in Europe or any countries in South America or Africa. I know you're watching out there because I see it in the numbers here. So I know you're there. Chime in. Let us know where you're watching from. Here's the deal. Trust, confidence, and integrity. Why is this so important from a prospecting standpoint? Here's the whole thing. If the earlier I can establish trust, confidence, and integrity, the sooner I'm in a position to be able to understand really where you're coming from. Because otherwise what happens is I wind up just chasing bad stuff, or I hear bad stuff. See, if there's not a level of trust or confidence, guess what? I don't understand the truth. Wow, people are really chiming in. We got Zambia. Thank you. Great to have you. Whoops, let me get Zambia up there. There it is. We got Zambia. We got Calgary, Alberta. We've got somebody who just moved to New York. Great. And Bonnie David chimes in again. Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. Hey, just bought your book from Amazon. Thank you so much. The Canadian portal. Yes, because in fact, it's been interesting. I had another person who was looking to buy a bunch of copies and they were actually back ordered. So this was on the Amazon.ca. So congratulations if you got your copy. Here's the situation. My objective is trust, confidence, and integrity. The sooner I have that, the more valid I'm going to know their need, the more valid I'm going to know their timeline. Because they're not going to blow smoke at me. See, this is why I place such a high emphasis on this. And this is the difference between a prospect and a great prospect. And I can't stress that enough. Now, here's the next piece. Can you have a conversation? Can you have a conversation that is discussion focused, question centered both ways, and are they responsive? Again, let me break these down. Hey, somebody just chimed in, missed the Selling from the Heart Trust Challenge with you, Mark Hunter. Alan here from the DC metro area, still reading A Mind for Sales with my good friend, Larry Levine. Hey, Larry is a great friend of mine. I talk with him regularly. We text back and forth. And right now he's struggling because he's a Dodgers fan. Dodgers are about one step away from elimination, but hang in there, Larry, if you are watching here today. Let's come back on this. Discussion focused. If you as a prospect are not willing to have a conversation with me, I have to question, what are you doing? In other words, is what you're doing just simply trying to get information from me? Are you just trying to get information from me to be able to use it for somebody else? This is why it's absolutely so key here that I got to be able to have a conversation. This again comes back to that whole trust and relationships here. Hey, we got Columbia here. Love it. Bought the book, learning from it. Buffalo, New York is in the house. Somebody else said, yep, did it too. Bought it. It's great. I love the fact that people are chiming in from now all over the world and they're picking up the book, they're reading it. So let's come back to this discussion focus. If I'm talking to somebody and they aren't responding to me, in other words, they aren't responding to me, I got a question. How good of a prospect can they be? Chances are they're only going to be a price-centered prospect, and that's not a great prospect. You see, I want somebody that's discussion-focused, and I want to have them question-centered. Now, both ways. Now, think about this. This is really key. In other words, I'm asking you questions, and you're asking me questions. Now, here's the value of questions. And then again, this comes back to this whole piece earlier where I put up the slide here. Let me pop it back up here. Trust, confidence, and integrity. My goal is to be able to ask you, the prospect, questions that I know you can't answer. Now, that's what a typical salesperson does. Okay. They love to ask customers questions that the customer can't answer, but they can answer. And that's the way they look brilliant. I say, hold it, stop. I want to ask you questions, you the prospect, questions that you can't answer and I can't answer. What does that do? That creates a conversation. That creates a discussion. You see how that fits in? Now, this third one here, responsive. Now, think about this for a moment, because on this earlier slide here, I put know their timeline. Now, think about this. Know their timeline is going to very much drive their responsiveness. Because if somebody is not being responsive to me, then what does that tell me about their timeline? Generally, if people are on a short timeline, they're going to be much more responsive. Now, it may not always be the case. Again, they could be absolutely caught up, busy, and so forth, but it's an indicator. Hey, if you're watching this and you haven't chimed in with where you're calling, where you're watching from, what country, what state, wherever, put it in the comment section. Let's get it up on the board, because I know there's still a lot of other people out there that are watching, but are not. Yeah. Here's the whole piece. As I've gone through these 9 here, let me just walk through this again here. Source, prior history, people connections. This gives me the historical framework. Know their need, know their timeline, trust, confidence, and integrity helps me understand their current state. Discussion focused, question centered, both ways. Now this begins to tell us how I'm going to be dealing with them. We got Huntsville, Alabama in the house. Great to have Huntsville in the house. Absolutely terrific. Dale's chiming in with more comments. Hey, please continue to provide great content. Hey, I love doing this. This is what I love doing. Now, what are we doing here? When we're having this level of conversation with people, we are creating a great prospect. See, now here's something interesting. Are great prospects coming to you, or are you creating great prospects? Think about this for a moment. I believe we can create great prospects by going through these 6 pieces that I talked about, especially these last 3. Because if I can get you, you may be a prospect that's on the fence. Okay. You may be on the fence. You're not quite there. But if I can engage you in a conversation and get you engaged in a conversation, I can increase your interest. If I can get you to begin asking me questions, and I'm asking you questions, and you're responsive to my comments after the sales call. You see what happens here? You see what's happening? I'm actually training you to be a great prospect. Yeah. You see, great prospects aren't always those you identify. Great prospects can be those that you create. And that's something really to chew on. So don't think for a moment that leads alone are going to determine who your great prospects are. Leads alone will tell you who your prospects are. But there's a mechanical process you have to go through to make them great. Now, let's come back and let's talk about a couple more pieces here. And I do love this because I have to put into context, is my great prospect looking to be converted, or are they looking to be educated? Now, again, this comes back to and very much impacts the questions I ask. Because see, if they're already buying what I'm selling from another vendor, from another supplier, from whoever it might be, I have to be converting. If, on the other hand, they've never used it before, I'm educating. Again, what does this do? This changes the timeline. Conversion or education, understanding that is the key to understanding what is their timeline. It really is. It really is the key to understanding their timeline, barring a critical issue that they have going on in the company. Yeah. See, what does this all come down to? Understanding who great prospects are. Now, you've seen me. I've shared this before. I've shared this many, many times before. You can't take a Walmart shopper and turn them into a Nordstrom customer. I totally get that. Totally understand that. You see, the reason I show this right now is this very simple reason. If the lead I have, I can't turn them into a prospect that has potential to become great. I got to get them out of my system. No, I keep them in my marketing system, but they're not in my sales system. Because again, I want to be able to be in a position where I'm spending more time with fewer prospects. Because here's the other piece. As I look at their timeline, as I go through those 9 criteria I shared with you, I want you to remember that your objective here is to land, just land the deal. And then you expand. One of the worst things that you can do is if you have a great prospect, boy, they're responsive, they're talking to you, they're doing all kinds of things. We have another great LinkedIn user from Manchester, UK. We've got several people in the house from the UK. I want to hear from some other countries in Europe and some more countries in South America. So if you haven't chimed in, or Central America. So if you haven't, chime in. Let me know where you're calling from. And even here in the States, by all means. You see, what I'm doing here is my land and expand. What happens here is I see people who they wind up with great prospects. Wow, this prospect is good. I'm going to make my annual number off of this. And what happens is we become drunk on the success we believe the prospect is going to bring to us. I've had this happen many, many times where this prospect they have checked all the boxes. I know their timeline, I know their need, I know everything. So I begin throwing everything at them. Don't slow down. Make it easy. Make it easy. And one of the easiest ways that you can do it is when you put the offer across the table to them, put two offers across the table. Put a simple and a more complex. Simple and more complex. Now, here's why. I'm being very detailed as to what I'm providing you, but I'm giving you simple and a little more complex. The idea is if you expand to the more complex, you're doing it on your own. But I'm making it so easy for you to pick the simple one. Hello, South Carolina. Great to have South Carolina in the house. Absolutely terrific. See, here's what I want to do. I'm making it simple for the prospect. Don't allow the great prospect to take you down the wrong path. Make sure that you're still guiding them. And that's why I say land. I'll land the sale, and then I'll expand up from there. Now, what does this come back to? You know, I talk about this a lot, ICP, because I'm so sold on it. The more focused you are, I was doing a program, I've done 2 other programs today with various clients. And in both of them, we've been talking about ICP as a way to get stuff off of our plate. Because again, if that great prospect doesn't fit my ICP, why am I doing it? Now, ICP, ideal customer profile. Does it line up with what you feel is a good customer? And in both the other programs I did for clients today, we were identifying prospects that they were spending a lot of time with that didn't match their ICP. But they were responsive. They were discussion focused. We knew what they're hold it. But it didn't fit. See, it still has to fit your ICP. Just because they check all the other boxes, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Yes. And yes, Bonnie, the ICP is relevant to the chiropractic industry. You bet it. ICP is relevant to every salesperson. There's not one salesperson out there that ICP is not relevant to, regardless whether you're B2B, B2C, or B2G, business to government. Yeah. See, here's what it comes down to. If you have the ability to help someone, it's your responsibility to reach out to them. I can't stress this enough. So when we talk about the number of leads and we talk about prospects, I may have leads up here that I have the ability, so it's my responsibility to reach out to them. But ultimately, I choose not to do business with them because they don't fit my ICP and they don't check the boxes on those 9 things that I shared with you. That's okay. I've just got to say, okay, that's simply the way it is. And I've got to let it go. I have to let it go. Yeah. What we've been talking about here is really, I want you to spend more time with great prospects. Yeah. And again, it comes back to this post that I had on LinkedIn. In fact, next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Central Time, I'm going to be doing another live stream just like this, where we're going to be dissecting. I'm going to be sharing a number of the comments. We had over 100 comments this is going to be really, really lively. And I'm going to break it down. Are we more likely to win with are we more likely to win with 500 leads, or are we more likely to win with 25 prospects? Yeah, I'm going to do that on Tuesday of next week. But here's the deal. I really want you to check out Sales Pipeline. It's a new masterclass I've got out there. It's absolutely terrific. We got a lot of people that are downloading it because my goal is to help you fill your pipeline. If you got some questions, got some other comments, or you're in an area of the world that you haven't chimed in and told us, please put it in the comment section right now. Put it in the comment section. And because I want to get to these questions, I want to get to whatever it is that you have on your mind right now. But I do want you to check out Sales Pipeline. Hey, in the Sales Pipeline course, you got 14 videos, 33-page workbook. There's a sundry of tools in there They're going to help you fill your sales pipeline. Now, one of the things that people have asked me about, Mark, you've been talking about referrals. Guess what? Next month, we're coming out with a referral masterclass. That is going to be gold, referral masterclass. So if you haven't checked out referral, absolutely gold. Bonnie jumps in with a question here. Let's go ahead and put it up on the screen here. Let me get it up on the screen. The first criteria then is to craft the ICP before we start. Yeah, you really need to craft your ICP. And again, I got a master class we put out back in about June or July on that issue. Check that out, because again, the tighter you can make your ICP, the better off. But the reason I shared that today at the end was because many times what happens is we get into the process, and I still got to make sure that it fits your ICP, because I don't want you going down the side path. Hey, check out this course here. Really do. Sales pipeline. It's out there. It's available right now. Just go to thesaleshunter.com. It's the website. You can grab it there. Do me a favor also, if you will. Stay in touch with me, would you? Because again, regardless whether or not you're a level 3 member, all access, we got a number of people who are on the call here today that are all access. What does that mean? They get access to everything in the Sales Hunter University. And every month we put new stuff out there. I got other people, other names that I recognize where you've purchased a master class or two along the way. Do hope you take advantage of this. And for everyone, please make sure that you do stay in touch with me. I'm all over social media. You see me out there on LinkedIn all the time. That's my website. That's my email. And that's my office number. Please feel free to call that anytime. Bonnie jumps in with another question here. Let me answer that. What's the difference between the buyer persona that HubSpot talks about and the ICP? Not a whole lot. We just put different terms on it. Yeah, it really is. I mean, the buyer persona, when I talk about ICP, sometimes I use the term avatar. Yeah, and that's it. Greg is asking, does level 3 have access to the sales pipeline course? Yes, they do. Because when you join level 3, you get access to all the master classes out there. So yeah, that's why more and more, as we put more and more master classes out there, more and more people are kind of scratching their heads saying, you know what? That's just the best way to go. Hey, LinkedIn user says, thank you. Great content. Hey, my name is Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. I love sales. Sales is not a job. Sales is not a profession. Sales is a community. And really, it's a team sport. And when I said sales is a community, why? Because it's a lifestyle. We get to do it 24/7. And with that, I want to say thank you very much. Catch us next Tuesday, 2:00, right here on LinkedIn, as we're going to dissect 500 prospects versus 500 leads versus 25 prospects. And then next Thursday, same time, 2:00, come back again, because I'm going to have another one of these sessions for you dealing with the sales pipeline. Hey, I'm Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. Great selling.